Yes, Geordies, welcome back to another video, and I hope everyone's over that Brighton performance and just look at it for what it is. We've got a point, at least we avoided defeat, and that was the main thing. Get something on the board. If you don't win the game, make sure you don't lose the game. But we're back to doing scout reports today, because if that Brighton performance told you anything, it's the lack of depth we have in midfield. I know right wing, centre-back, maybe a striker is vitally important, but our midfield depth, as soon as we take out one of our three, the drop-off is insane. So I'm going to be proposing to you another player. We've done quite a few so far, but this guy plays in Brazil. You've probably never seen him play before. You've probably never heard of him. So I'm going to tell you about his strengths, weaknesses, and then we're going to be comparing him to Joelinton, Bruno, and Tonali to see if he would be a fit for Newcastle United. And he plays for Corinthians at the moment, and that is Breno Bidon. And I'm pronouncing it like that because I got in touch with my mate that works in Argentina, asked how you pronounce his name, and it is Bidon, not Bindon, what I was saying previously. So we're going to be calling him Bidon. But he joined the Corinthians Academy in 2018 as an under-17s player. He rose through the ranks with Gabriel Moscardo, who's currently at PSG on loan to Reims, who's another midfielder that we could be looking at, but that's for another video. And then he helped Corinthians win the 2024 Copa Sao Paulo the football junior and won best player of the tournament. That's a senior football tournament, so he's got that experience in senior football. His achievements, obviously he's won that competition I've just mentioned, he's won the Paulista, and he also won the South American under-20 championships in 2005. Now, I remember watching that tournament, and both Gabriel Moscardo and Breno Bidon weren't starting the first game against Argentina. Brazil actually lost that game, and I tweeted out, if you start both of them in the midfield, Brazil win this tournament, and that's exactly what happened. From the second game onwards, they started every single game, him and Moscardo in the midfield, and they absolutely breezed it. He's known for his ability to win the ball back in the final third, his dribbling skills, his ability to create chances, and he's also known for his passing accuracy. Now, the very first thing we're going to do is look at his strengths, and I'm going to put some videos on there so you can feast your eyes on some of the technical brilliance that he's got. Now, the first thing you think of when you think of a Brazilian player is that flair, that explosivity, that something like Ronaldinho or Vinicius Jr. Now, although Breno Bidon is technically beautiful, he's a little bit different to what you would expect when you're talking about a Brazilian player. So he can play across multiple midfield roles, including attack midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder, and he excels in his technical ability, one-on-one dribbling, and his ability to break line from every angle of the pitch. He's got exceptional football IQ and awareness. He's extremely threatening in the final third and in the middle third. Now, this is something I've just mentioned. What makes Bidon so interesting and different is his difference from legendary Brazilian attackers like Ronaldinho, like Neymar, like Vinicius Jr. He's a technical player who uses passing and vision to break lines. Now, he has taken some traits from your legendary Brazilians, such as a good speed of thought and quick turns, but he's added pinpoint passing and vision to them, which makes him an extremely difficult player to mark. This is why he's at his best when he's in the inside channels, when he uses his quick turns to shield the ball. He's an all-action midfielder, a volumes player. Wants to get on the ball. He's got exceptional awareness just to bypass his opponents or be so composed and comfortable under pressure. Now, one of his standout qualities is his timing and his aggression in offensive duels. His body positioning, his guile, his anticipation allow him to guide past players and break lines and progress his team into a new third. He maintains exceptional control and composure on the ball, even in tight spaces. He's got excellent initiating play from the back with precise passes. So how can I make this easier for you to understand his ability on the ball? Now, if I was to compare him to somebody in Europe right now, like I say, he's not like your natural Brazilians that come over from South America. He's a little bit more like Pedri when he's in possession. The technical ability, the guile, the ability just to maneuver in tight spaces. He's got a lot of similarities in what he wants to do in possession, like Pedri. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as Pedri, because I think Pedri's outstanding, but he's got those sorts of qualities when he's in possession. Now, for me personally, I think he would be ideal in a Bruno role, but he could also cover at Joelinton. I wouldn't feel so confident him being a Sandro Tonali, that lone 6 role, and we're going to be touching on it very shortly. But first of all, I wanted to look at some statistics, comparing them to his peers at Corinthians. So he ranks 8th for expected assists with 1.4 per 90, ranks 11th for key passes with 16, key passes in the penalty area, he ranks 10th, progressive passes 2nd, shot creating actions 8, goal creating actions 17th, progressive carries 9th, successful take-ons 24. That may sound quite demoralizing, that may sound like it's not very good, but when you look at the underlying numbers, he's averaging 1.18 progressive passes, 27 take-ons this season already. That's more than Bruno, Joelinton and Sandro Tonali. So it's not that he's not good at what he's doing, it's just because Corinthians, they've got players that express themselves a lot more in their squad. So they've got their dribblers. He's more of a ball retention, playing through the lines, that type of player, but he's got the ability to take on players willingly. Defensively, he's not bad either. He ranks 5th in the tackles attempted, 5th in tackles won, 6th in tackles won in the final third with 5, and tackles and interceptions, he ranks 5th. So there are some weaknesses to him, and I think at first he could struggle in the Premier League, and I'll tell you why, because he's not played in Europe yet, so you'll have to adapt to the new environment change. And will he adapt to it? Being so young, his all-round game does need some refinement, like I say with most young players, positionally and decision making. Now he needs to develop more physical strength to compete effectively in physical duels. He can improve his overall body coordination, enhancing his agility and his balance, and he lacks explosive acceleration, which can be a disadvantage in certain defensive and offensive situations. And also his height also shows concerns to be aerial dominant. Now the reason why I wouldn't like him in the lone 6 role, I think when you're in possession, he's perfect for that role because he can receive the ball on the half turn anywhere on the pitch. So when you're playing through the lines, he's the guy that you want. But when you stop in defensive transitions, I think he lacks that physicality and that intensity to play the Sandro Tonali rules. But if he irons out the rough edges, he's an absolute linchpin for any team. So this is how his heat map compares to Newcastle's midfield 3. And as you can see, he's quite similar to Joelinton, where he likes to use that left-hand inside channel to receive the ball, and that allows him to be creative in the final third. The majority of his touches come in the middle section of the pitch. Very rarely does he receive the ball very, very deep. So he receives a lot of progressive passes, and that's why the main area where he receives the ball is just ahead of that halfway line on the left-hand side. Now we're going to look at some individual statistics, comparing them to midfielders in Europe. So he's creating 2 chances per 90, which is quite admirable. But when it comes to progressive passes, progressive carries, successful take-ons, he ranks really, really highly. Now one thing on this page that I would like to see improve is his goal efficiency. Getting into better positions, having shots from better shot locations will just lift up his goal efficiency and allow him to create a lot more chances, but also score a lot himself. Now when I say he's technically outstanding, I mean he's technically outstanding. And this vision tells you everything you need to know. He's completing so many passes, he's completing so many take-ons, he's progressive in his play, he looks to play the ball forward, he receives a lot of passes. When it comes to long pass completion, short pass completion, and medium pass completion, he all ranks very, very highly. He averages 6 progressive passes per 90 and 5 passes into the final third. That just tells you a couple of things, that he's so good at moving his team into a dangerous area, but he's also very creative from all areas of the pitch. When he's got the ball at his feet, he's a player that very rarely loses possession. Now his defensive numbers don't spring out on the page, but they're not bad reading either. He's averaging 2.2 tackles per 90, so he does get stuck in. One of his major downfalls is he always goes to ground. He doesn't like that combativeness when it's shoulder to shoulder. He always goes to ground, and that can be problematic in the Premier League. So he just needs to hold his ground a little bit more for my liking. But when it comes to ball recovery, he's averaging 5 per 90, which shows his aggressiveness and his ability to work hard off the ball. He's intercepting at least 1 per 90, so it allows him to block out lanes. He's got good awareness, good positional awareness. So these statistics might not look good to the naked eye. When you look at the underlying numbers, they're not bad reading. When you compare them to Joelinton, Sandro Tonali and Bruno, again, it's not bad reading. This is him in possession. Well, he completes more passes than any other player. And I mentioned his technical ability. His ability to get on the ball and just not lose a ball, have so much composure, is unbelievable. When you're looking to break through the lines or play out from the back, you want someone like Breno Bidon. When it comes to chance creation, only Bruno is creating more chances per 90. But one thing I did mention earlier that I want to see improve is his goal efficiency, his goal output. As you can see, he scored 0 in 29 games. Now, that could be down to the way Corinthians play, because they play with a double pivot, but they want their double pivot to sit in front of the back four so their wingers can push on. So it's slightly different tactically. So if he was to come in an Eddie Howe system, he might have more freedom to enter into the box. But at the minute, I would like to see his goal output improving. When it comes to defensively, as you can see, he makes just as much tackles as Joelinton and Bruno, but he's taking on a lot more people, and his take-on success rate is far superior than anybody else's. When it comes to aerial duels, he doesn't actually get involved in many aerial duels, but he wins quite a high proportion of them. 60% he's winning of his aerial duels, although he's only getting involved in 0.7, so that's less than 1 per 90. When it comes to ground duels, he's got a very high success rate once again. He's winning more ground duels than Joelinton and Sandro Tonali. And as you can see, he's level with Sandro Tonali for interceptions per 90. That just highlights his football awareness, his intelligence, and his ability to read the game. So as you can see, there is areas for improvements, but there's a lot to work with. He's got so many qualities, and he would just bring something different to our team. Somebody that can get on the ball, somebody that can break through the line, somebody that can be creative from all areas of the pitch. So he would offer what our midfielders do, but he's got a little bit more guile in possession. So I kind of feel like if he was to come to us, he would give us a lot more control in the middle of the pitch. He's played over 60 times in senior football. His market value is about £12 million. But for me, having watched the guy, I think he would be best suited for that Bruno role, but I feel like he could fill in and do a job in any of the midfield role threes. So I want to hear your thoughts. Is Breno Bidon, keep on saying Bidon, but I want to hear your thoughts. Is Breno Bidon somebody that you would welcome in Newcastle United? Is it somebody that we should be keeping an eye on? Let me know in the comments below. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, away the lads.